We have a team of home stagers. We have in-house professional movers, our logistics team. We have our
Yeah.
own trucks. Installation is it's a big part of home staging, but
Yeah.
the biggest part actually happens at the warehouse. That's why we're pretty strict when it comes when we show up.
You're not necessarily on the design end, but what are some of the design trends you've seen this year or that are maybe coming down the pike this year? What are you seeing? What should people know about?
Yeah, so number one
You're
thing.
listening to Real Estate Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Sarah Hilton, and this is your weekly live coffee date with the who's who from every corner of the real estate industry. Exciting. All right. Tatiana. Am I saying that right? Because I say it with a
Yeah,
Spanish flair. Okay.
yeah, it's an
Love
international name. You got it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Real Estate Coffee Talk. Let's see. I got my little coffee from before. Cheers. Oh, you can't do it
Cheers.
on my background. Cheers. Oh my gosh. I am so seriously excited to talk to you guys. You are, well, I'm sure beyond Charlotte, you are also celebrities, but you're definitely local celebrities on the
We're not.
Charlotte real estate scene. I was just at a True Homes community recently and they had all the TNT staging cards there. And I was like, I
Aw.
kind of know them now. So your work is absolutely beautiful. And I feel like more and more agents are getting to know about staging. So I'm so excited to kind of talk to you and see what you guys are doing. But
Thank you.
first of all, tell us a little bit about you, what you guys kind of do and all that stuff.
Yeah, so my name is Tatiana Murga. I'm one of the co-owners of TNT Staging. My business partner, she is doing some commercial projects and working on our website as we speak. So I'm here for both of us.
Which is wild that you both have the same name because it's not a common name. When I saw that, I was like, that's crazy. Two Tatiana. I was like, what are the odds?
Well, for United States, yeah, it is not a very common name.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess, but for Russia, it is pretty
Oh,
common.
okay.
So we're both
Makes sense.
from Russia. Most of our team is also Eastern European. Like we have people from all over the place, from Kazakhstan, from Belarus, from Ukraine. You know,
Wow, that's
after the
so
war
cool.
started, we have a lot of folks from
Of
Ukraine
course.
helping them
Right.
adjust here. So yeah, we started almost 7 years ago. In fact, my business partner started before me. I was still doing my corporate career in sales, marketing.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay, so how did you I guess what came first, right? Were you really good at decorating and all this stuff first? Like, were you doing that for a career? Or did you just notice, like, hey, I'm good at this and I like it, so I'm just gonna get this started? Like, how did this start?
So breaking news.
Yeah.
I'm not a designer. I'm not a decorator. I'm the kind of like the business
Brains.
side of business, right?
Oh,
So
got it.
Tatiana is the creative side of business,
Okay.
and it started when she was touring houses with her husband, and he, in fact, told her about home staging because she was
Okay.
so impressed with some turquoise napkins or something, and he told her, Tatiana, it's staging. Disregard that. Look at the house. Don't look
Right.
at all those,
Right.
cute accessories and decor and things like that, but she couldn't get over it because it is very impactful. It really does work. So she started doing it on her own, like all stagers
Yeah.
usually do, started stealing stuff from her own home and like doing a little bit here and there. And then I made a decision. So I helped her out a little bit. And then
Yeah.
I made a decision to leave corporate and we joined forces and formed TNT. It was June 2017, I believe. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Okay, so like fairly new on the scene, but I feel like you guys have had a ton of success because even before we kind of like connected on Instagram a little bit. I had heard about you guys. You're definitely one of the bigger ones on the scene. Uh
yeah.
so how did you guys kind of grow? I mean, that's only 6.5 years. How did you grow from start to being having major clients and builders? And I feel like you're everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, um, it's a desire to grow. We don't have any plan B. We're all
Mhm.
in. It's
Yeah.
not a hobby for us, it's business. And I mean, systems, really. Like when you
Right.
build systems, that's when you grow. You need to think of scale. You need to set up processes in a certain way, and you need to kind of like, you need to learn to delegate. You need to learn to like push your ego on the side a little bit, and
Right.
think about efficiency, about processes, about, every project being, cost efficient and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's not just me and Tatiana, it's our entire team. But right now we are one of the largest home staging companies in the nation, and probably in the world, because US is the biggest market
Right.
for home staging. So yeah, and we just expanded to Raleigh as well.
I saw that today. I was gonna bring it up. So, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And man, Raleigh, that area, Raleigh, Chapel Hill, some parts of Durham, the homes there are so beautiful.
They are.
So oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what you guys do there. That's gonna be great.
Yeah,
Okay.
very excited.
So what tell us I know you work with a lot of builders too, but also agents. Like, when should an agent consider staging for their listing and why?
Well, I'll start with a quote by Barb Schwartz. She's the founder of home staging. In fact, I think she invented the term home staging, and it became like, she either has like trademark or copyright on for that word.
Right,
So she says that there is no home that could not benefit from home staging. There's no home that wouldn't be, that the sellers wouldn't want to sell it faster and for more, right?
right.
So, and the same with TNT, we stage from like very budget friendly flips
Yeah,
to like multi-million dollar mansions. So we do not discriminate. And
yeah,
when it comes to home staging, there are two types of home staging. One is owner occupied or occupied. That's when people continue living in the home, and stager comes in and he or she like tweaks certain items, rearranges, decorates. And vacant home staging. So we specialize in vacant home staging. That's when the
right.
house is completely empty, no furniture, no tenants, no homeowners. Nobody lives in the house, right? So I would say that if you want to sell faster and for more, you must consider home staging. And the important thing that I think everyone needs to think about is any price drop is at least $5,000.
Yeah,
So rather than, before you do any price drop, unless it was severely overpriced from the very beginning, right?
right.
But unless you do any price drop, consider home staging, because people emotional we buy with emotions. That's why
Yeah.
home staging works. That's why we have a job. 'Cause-
Yes. Yeah, because it's just like you said about your business partner, and maybe sometimes guys, don't always
oh, they
fall for.
do. They do.
Yeah, I was gonna say because listen, I've been in plenty of model homes where my husband's like, "Whoa, look at those curtains." I mean,
Exactly.
So, yeah, but it's true. It's like people even it's just simple marketing. You know this, but like people use emotions to justify logic, right? So,
To
yeah,
the
I mean,
point where we have a lot of customers who would not destage until appraiser and the inspector comes to the house. They
oh
appraise.
yes, yes.
So that's how impactful home staging is. That it
Oh
even
my,
affects the appraisal, even
yeah.
though
Oh, I believe that it shouldn't,
technically
but it
it
does.
shouldn't. But yeah, emotion.
Oh, girl, don't even get me started on that. Yes, it shouldn't, but it does because it's perception. I mean, I've had listings that definitely should have appraised if we're just talking about what appraisal should be based on, right? But I've had them where they maybe don't have like the nicer countertops, they don't have the on-trend paint and all that stuff. And even those will appraise lower, and I'm like, but yeah, you walk in and it gives you a feeling. And also, I think for a lot of those vacant homes, small and large, it's hard to see yourself there. It's hard to see as a home and get excited about it when it's just these empty rooms, kind
Yeah,
of.
especially with open space. Open space is awesome. You can, do your thing,
Right.
cook, be in the kitchen and see the living room, right?
Right.
But sometimes open space is like hard to define. It's hard to like
Right.
visualize how to put it in, like what to put in, how to better utilize the space. So that's where
Right.
staging comes handy. So
Right. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's so the model I bought when I bought my home was was staged, and you know the model, and I wish I would have taken pictures of it because I have no design eye. And you don't know how much I've been looking up, like, this certain model
mhm,
of house or floor plan to find videos where of how they staged it, because there's this area where I can't figure out, like, what kinda table went there, and I just wanna, like, copy and paste what they had and put
mhm.
it there. So, yeah, it does. It sells the home. So, okay, um, what I I guess since you do this every day, but what are some of the common objections that agents give you when it comes to staging? Like, what do you wish they knew about staging?
Probably statistics. It varies from state to state, from like country to country, but
Right.
common stats is that, and I didn't check on it, but like overall nationwide, that
Right.
stage homes sell 88% faster and at least 20% more. So that's kind of like common stats. I'm
Yeah.
sure it varies. It depends on the house. I would still encourage everyone to, I understand that bidding wars are back to
Yeah.
but and things like that, but I would still encourage people to price homes reasonably. And
Right.
I mean, you can try to go for gold, but as soon as you do two price drops, people start suspecting that something is wrong with the house.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
it's better to price it, at market level, and then get into a bidding war and then get more, rather than to kind of like jack it up too high. And
Right.
then, you know staging
Yeah.
does help, but it does help to the point. And the same
Yeah.
the same with painting the house neutral colors. If I had to choose, and right now I'm like shooting myself in the foot, but I'm gonna say that because
Yeah.
our goal is not just to make money through home staging, right, but our goal is to help people sell homes faster and for more. If I had
Right.
to choose between painting the house evenly, one neutral color, some grayish color,
Yeah.
right, and staging, like before you pay for staging and invest in staging, paint the house, like
Yes.
especially if it's like multicolored
Yeah.
different rooms, because you gotta neutralize it. Like fresh coat of paint, it's a like perfect canvas for home staging.
Right, and people always say, like, agents would be like, "Well, look past the pain, it's just," and I'm like, "It's just not that easy," right? Because
No.
it just looks like a project. Yes, painting a whole house when you're searching for houses. I've seen houses, I'm like, "Oh my god," and then you think, like, "This is a whole project now. I got this room is turquoise, this room is orange, this room is," and it does talk people out of it. If they see one that's already done, why wouldn't they just get the one that's already done? So,
Exactly, and it's great investment, but I would say start with making sure that your walls are all the same neutral color. Even if you think
right,
it's boring, you're selling the house. You don't, you're
you
not
know,
staying in
inviting
it.
people over.
So yeah,
Yeah,
then stage it, because even my house, we sold the house a couple of years ago.
yeah.
I moved out. We staged it, and we had, I believe, 72 showings. Like,
That's crazy. Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
It's like if I'm paying my team for staging, like
Yes,
I,
exactly. Like,
that
you're not,
means
like, doing
something,
it
right?
yourself, moving your own furniture out. Oh my gosh, that is huge. Okay. That's so so let me ask you this. What are some of the crazier things that have happened when you guys have staged
Oh
homes?
God, God. Well, once we showed up, and um, some guys were repairing flooring in the hallway, and that was the only way for us to bring furniture
Kidding.
in,
Oh
like
my
literally in
gosh.
the
Just
entryway. So,
you're like,
um,
"Oh."
well, I cannot tell you how many times we show up and the house is simply not ready, to the point where it's still a construction zone.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So,
Do
yeah.
people ever, like, ruin when you're going through let's say, like, 72 showings, you have nicer this isn't like I mean, maybe there's some Walmart stuff, but it's not cheap furniture throughout. Like, are people when you have 72 showings, like, do people ever break things? Do they ruin
Rarely.
things? Yeah.
Yeah, rarely. Sometimes, some here and there, maybe like, I don't know, somebody showed up with a child or a pet, or maybe somebody
A
just
pet.
knocked something off and it broke. Honestly, not that much. It's not
Okay.
such such a big deal, really. And usually, if it's a good customer of ours and it's just one accessory or something, usually we forgive them. It's not a big deal. It's kind of cost of doing business. But
Right.
if the customer, we did have situations where we explicitly tell everyone, and it's now staging agreement, and we always inquire from the very beginning. We're like, hey, make sure that the house is vacant. We only stage vacant homes. Nobody can
Yeah.
stay overnight. You can do open house, but that's it. We
Yeah.
did have situations where people stayed in the house and tried to sleep in the house, and they did ruin, you know,
Oh my
um,
gosh.
bedding and things like that. They tried to turn on fake TV, and it's
Oh,
we
oh,
did have things
I
like that.
could see it. Well, listen, if I moved out of my house and then you came in and staged, I'd just seeing your stuff, I'd want to move back in my house too. Like, hey,
Just don't stay overnight. You
yeah,
can move
exactly. I
back,
won't
just don't stay
sleep in the
overnight.
bed. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in your business, like, who is, because I mean, it's so big. So do you guys hire stagers? Do you train them? Like, who is doing the design and how does that process look?
Yeah, so we have stagers. We don't necessarily call them designers because they're stagers and they're
Right.
installers for the most part. They
Right,
do.
right.
So we do 6 jobs a day, 3 stagings, 3D stagings, and usually, like after we're done with stagings, usually like we go back to the warehouse and pack for the next day and things like
Right.
that. So the majority of work is done at the warehouse. All
Okay.
the decisions, all like design, planning, packing, pulling for tomorrow's stagings, it's all done at the warehouse. That's like the majority of work. And yeah, we have a team of home stagers. We have in-house professional movers, our logistics team. We have our
Yeah.
own trucks. And then the next day we do the installation. And installation is it's a big part of home staging, but
Yeah.
the biggest part actually happens at the warehouse. That's why we're pretty strict when it comes when we show up and it's
Yeah.
a loaded truck and we have to turn around and unload everything.
Oh my god, yeah.
It is also in our staging agreement that we have to charge people for that. Not
Yeah,
to
of
mention
course.
that it's like it's lost revenue for us because we
Yeah.
could have staged a house that was actually ready.
Yeah, yeah,
Instead, we
exactly.
gave that spot to somebody else. So
Oh, that makes total sense. Yeah.
yeah, some people get upset about it, but most people are,
They understand.
they learn, they
Yeah,
understand that,
yeah.
that's how we do business. And yeah.
Right, right. I mean, same thing on a much smaller scale, of course, but like when I've had listings with photographers coming out and you're like, these are the things you need to do to get your house ready. And then the photographer goes there and they have towels hanging up everywhere and things spread all over, dishes in the sink, and the person's trying to clean. The photographer's just like, I can't stay here another hour
Yeah.
while they clean up. It's, and they have to pay them for their stuff. So that I get it. So who does the I don't know if it's one person or if it's a team, but who does the actual, once you have a house,
Hmm.
who is the one with the vision who sets up like this is where the coffee table goes, this is where the all the way you guys always stack like the books. Like I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
how
yeah.
you do, who
So
does all that?
team of 6 stagers,
Oh, okay.
depending on who out of the 6 is going to be responsible for this project. Usually 2 people work on one project, but
Oh, okay.
only one is the kind of like the final decision maker who
Right.
like physically pulled for that staging and made like
Oh,
selection,
okay.
design choices.
Yeah.
But also like huge part of it is our procurement, like people who purchase furniture for staging and source furniture for staging. We
Right.
buy pretty much wholesale, everything wholesale, and we do like super high volume, and
Yeah.
we're trying to buy neutral pieces and then spruce them up and add interest through accessories, pillows, wall art. So
Yeah. Oh, I wish I just had it in me. Okay. So here's
you can hire it out.
I know. So here's my other question because I think it was something that you guys put in there. But do you guys also do like okay, so my sister bought a house through Meritage and this was during like the craziness of the pandemic. It was May of 2020.
Uh-huh.
So they are finishing up their model, or they're selling, I guess, in that phase. The model was fully decorated, staged, whatever. She bought the house and they just sold her all the furniture for like $5,000 or $6,000. And so she signed her closing papers in the hospital before her C-section. And then when she got out of the hospital, she walked into her house with a baby and a suitcase because the whole house was there pretty much.
That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
know. I was like, the benefits of buying during COVID. But like, do you find, are there ever people who buy houses and they're like, can I just buy
Oh yeah.
everything here?
Yeah, we started selling, basically allowing people to buy a house with all the furniture in it, or area by area, or if you're interested in one piece, we can do that too. So
Yeah.
basically, everything you see, either on our social media or our website, or physically in staged homes, or on Zillow, right, or
Yeah,
other
yeah.
MLS,
Yeah.
everything is for sale. All our staging inventory is for sale. Yeah, so basically everything you see, all our staging inventory is for sale. Some of it is in brand new condition, some of it is like in gently used condition, because as I mentioned, we never stage owner occupied homes or occupied
Right.
homes, so no babies, no puppies.
Yeah.
But if you want the same piece and it's still available, still in stock, if you want the same piece like completely brand new, we can order it and basically deliver the same piece brand new. So yeah.
Tatiana, you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is the most exciting part. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I know.
So you're telling me that I could be like, hey, move out
Anything.
all my crap and be like, come
Anything you
stage my
want.
house. Oh my gosh. Okay. So do you guys also do you do that for people, like design stuff, and they just tell you, hey, basically stage my house, design it, and
Yes.
then
With furniture purchase, yes.
yeah,
But we kind of need to make sure that we are on the same page as far as aesthetics. So basically, if you
right.
like our portfolio, if you like what you see, we're
Yeah.
gonna source pretty much similar items, the same items, and that's
Yeah.
what you're gonna get in your home. If you want something that is not up in our alley kind of type deal, not
Yeah.
quite what we normally do, then probably we're not really interior designers, we're stagers, and
Right.
we sell furniture. So if you like
Right.
the furniture, you want to buy it, sure, we'll deliver, we'll do the installation, just tell us what you want. But if you want something like very special, the style that we don't work in, probably
Right.
better to find somebody else.
No, I mean, I've been in your model homes that you've staged, and I could be like, just everything here, just put it in my house, whatever.
No problem, done.
Because half the thing is like it's so this is the upsetting part, like especially when you buy new for some reason, because you shop this beautiful home, right? Because it's all staged by you. Then you buy it and you get this grade, house with all these bare walls, no blinds, and you're like, God, I don't even know where to start. Like, oh my gosh.
Yep. Start
Uh,
with calling TNT. Yeah.
oh,
Start
you have
with
no idea. You have no idea how excited I am about that. I've
yeah.
always wondered that.
Start with browsing our social media. Just send us a screenshot.
Yeah.
704 staging. Text it and say like, "Hey, can you do the same at my house, but in I don't know, camel
Yeah.
leather?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm going to do a whole Instagram video about this because this is blowing my mind. Okay. I am so excited about this. You have no clue and I'm like, I bet you a lot of people don't know. I think people,
Yeah.
they see like the model homes, and then when the model home's done, the place like auctions off the stuff or whatever. But
Mhm.
to think that you can go to this home that's staged and see it and be like, hey, can I just buy it all, or
Yeah.
buy pieces?
Yeah.
I bet you
Absolutely.
a lot of people don't even know that.
Yeah, we're trying to educate everyone on that. We're trying to pass that information along to the listing agents and ask them to put it in their MLS notes. And
Yeah.
we leave certain like marketing materials at homes,
Yeah.
at staged homes. But yeah, basically, if you see something that you like, take some pictures, text it to 704 staging, And yeah, we can deliver.
I am so excited. Okay, well, I have definitely learned some. Okay, let me get back to my little question for you. Okay,
We're
so
excited too.
oh my gosh. Okay, so what are some of the I know you're not necessarily on the design end, but what are some of the design trends you've seen this year or that are maybe coming down the pike this year? What are you seeing? What should people know about?
Yeah, so number one thing, even though gray is a perfect neutral timeless color,
Yeah,
grays are slowly moving out,
right,
and warmer tones, colder bluish grayish tones are
right.
going out of style, and warmer tones, beige, off-white, ivory,
Yeah.
brown,
Yes.
like orangey camel colors, they
Yeah.
trendy and like way more and more and more trendy. Basically, everything goes from cold to warm. So those brown kitchens or brown floors
They're gonna
may come back with a different twist.
as soon
So,
it's so funny, like, as it's so funny how fast stuff changes, like,
oh yeah.
as soon as you, like, get rid of my last house, I just moved, like, 3 years ago, and it was the dark chocolate brown floors, like, super dark, the cabinets were the same, and the floors drove me nuts. I did like the color at that time, but they drove me nuts because any little like, you would mop, and you just walk away, and
Yeah,
there's still
I-
specks of dust. Yes, it drove
yeah.
me nuts, very unforgiving. Um, and then it's like now I have like the, what everyone has, like the grayish like tone wood. And now look, now I need to redo my whole house again. It's ridiculous.
It's a never
Oh
ending
Lord.
story, but yeah, but basically everything becomes warmer and warmer and warmer. And as far as lines, curved lines are in style, soft,
Uh,
square, kind of like roundish
oh
corner.
yes.
Like, yeah, all the
Oh, okay.
curved lines are in style right now. Even the hoods, it's not like necessarily square right now,
Yeah.
like soft square. Everything is like,
Oh, we're in our soft, warm era in
yeah,
design. Yes.
yeah, nice and cozy. Yeah.
It's so good to know. I was happy to see, like, the farmhouse was everywhere for a little while. I'm like, "Whew," I'm kind of
Hmm.
I'm kinda glad we're getting a little bit of a
Yeah,
break.
nobody, not like everyone wants a farm.
I
Yeah.
know, like, all the signs with, like, farmhouse. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so over this trend." I tend to if it were me, I love, like, dark rooms. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know, I love dark, moody type paint. But my husband's like, "No more tricorn black in this house." Like, I'm, like, obsessed. Okay, so looking for you guys are already, like, probably the biggest, staging company, definitely in the US, probably in the world. What in the next 10 years with this really great team behind you and you guys leading it, like, what do you guys see yourself doing in 10 years?
That's a very good question. So we're trying to enter commercial scene, like commercial design and commercial projects.
Yeah,
So that's kind of our aspiration, is to design and furnish hotels all over the world and restaurants. And in fact, we just had a meeting with like super talented interior designers,
yeah,
and they do work on one of the best restaurants in the world, and they did a like a small hotel, and it's very unique architecture, very unique design, and we kind of want to collaborate with them and kind of like join our forces and execute upon that in the United States, because we're
uh,
pretty big with like helping people with unique short-term rentals,
yeah,
fees.
yeah,
So yeah, we like unique commercial projects. Residential are amazing,
yeah,
uh, but commercial, I think it's like our
another level,
next
for
big
sure.
thing.
That is so it must be so fun. There's so many pretty hotels, and then there's so many hotels that you're like, like, I was at,
Yeah, absolutely.
Wyndham, I think no, not Wyndham. It was which is the other one with the W? I don't know. Maybe
Uh,
it's just the W?
Maybe the W, but those are
Maybe
beautiful. Those are beautiful.
yes, I was at one no, I'm sorry, I gave myself too much credit. It was the Westin.
Uh-huh.
It was a Westin out in Anaheim, California. I mean, obviously a pretty part of town, but this hotel, like the way it was really beautiful inside, but the way it was decorated was just, oh, that was like 3 years ago. I'm still like, I feel like that's the prettiest hotel I've ever seen. So I
Yeah.
could just imagine what you guys could do.
Yeah, it definitely does leave a very lasting impression on people, and that's experiences. That's what, you
Yes.
travel is what you remember when you're on your deathbed,
Right.
and
Exactly.
part of the travel is, definitely company, definitely culture, but
Yeah.
like, your surrounding.
Experience. Yeah, yeah, it's just it's stuck out. I mean, we were there for Disneyland, but like the hotel, we were just watching, we're kind of like Disney freaks. So we're watching a bunch of Disney videos like but it's for that same reason you go and like in Disney World, if you go to Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're you're immersed,
Yeah,
right? And if you
absolutely.
go to Polynesian, you're immersed. And that's exactly what it is. It's the experience, which is what you guys are providing on multiple scales. So,
Absolutely, and that's why it's so important. Like, B&B scene, short term rental scene is kind
yeah,
of oversaturated, and people are complaining that numbers are not necessarily like as good as they used to be.
right.
Well, you gotta, when market becomes oversaturated, you gotta differentiate yourself, and
Yeah,
design and making people, like, making it a destination point on its own, and making it an experience on its own. It's kind of
exactly.
like what helps you keep that occupancy rate and that, nightly rate high,
Exactly, up.
market
Yeah,
rate, right?
because people will just pay. Because if you're just gonna go to a hotel to go to Disney, then whatever, I'm staying at the DoubleTree down the street, you know what I mean? But if you're like, "Ooh, I'm excited to try," first we're gonna go to Africa on the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and then we can go to Hawaii, and it's a very, like,
Yeah, and
that's how
that's
Disney.
what your family, what your
Yeah,
loved ones gonna remember like forever, especially
exactly,
the young ones. They just, everything imprints in their memory, and
exactly. Yeah, we decided, because I have my older 2 are 18 and 16, and then I have a 6-year-old.
oh
So
wow, good
I
for
know,
you.
big gap.
A
But after this
very young mom of like adult children.
I know an adult have a whole entire adult child, it's the weirdest thing, but we were talking because like, this Christmas, I mean, it's just the culture we live in is just so much on stuff. I didn't grow up with a ton of stuff, and so, like, it's just stuff, 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 and this Christmas, I was almost buying them stuff just because I'm like, "Oh, it's Christmas," and, like, "What do you want?" They couldn't even this is the sad part, they couldn't even think of stuff they wanted because they
They have
had
everything. Hmm.
everything, yeah, and, we after this Christmas and then my youngest, he has Spider-Man stuff all over the house, and it drives me crazy, and I'm like, "No, you know what? This next Christmas, we're just gonna cut out all that stuff and just do a trip,"
Yeah,
that just
experiences.
like you
Yep.
said, that's what sticks with you, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
"This
it's
is
it's
priceless."
precious. That's what we will all remember. We're not gonna remember what MacBook or I don't
Exactly.
know,
What
phone
pair of
we
sneakers.
got, a pair of sneakers. Yeah, experiences is what makes you feel like you live your life actually.
Right, exactly, and that's what I love about your staging is, on a of course, on a different scale, but that's exactly what you're providing to the sellers who are getting their house, and then to people who are walking through this house, it is really and I've seen her stuff in person, it is an experience, you can imagine yourself there, it's
Thank you.
immersive, yes, it's I love it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I can imagine having people over and not being embarrassed because when I have people over sometimes I'm, like, embarrassed because I feel like my house isn't, like, pretty, I don't know how to do that stuff. So that's
Well,
a feeling
that's
I get.
because you know how to sell houses. We know how to stage homes.
Yeah,
So everyone
yeah,
has its own profession and experience. And the
right.
best part is it costs the same. It's
Yeah,
the matter of your choices. It costs the same to decorate it the way we stage it,
yeah,
and or to go to the same store and basically pick pieces in the same price point, but
right.
because maybe somebody's lacking certain knowledge or experience, those choices maybe they look great separately, but all together, maybe doesn't
Right.
flow as it should be, or maybe the color combo. Color is science on its own, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but my point is you can use the same budget, but if you
Yeah.
know what you choose, just like in your outfits, right, and being able to
Yeah.
get a wardrobe, the
Put
same
it
with interior
together.
design. Yeah, it's just knowing what to choose and how to mix and match it. It's
Yeah.
huge. It changes everything with the
Oh,
same
yeah.
budget.
Like, I could never, because you can buy, I can look at your pictures and be like, "Oh, well, this coffee table's cute," and then there's a book here, but even when it's my outfits, whenever I buy stuff, I'm like, I just see someone wearing the shirt, pants, shoes, and I'm like, "Just give me the whole." I just like the whole thing, just give it to
Yeah,
me like that. So, believe me, I'm excited about this opportunity. I didn't even know this existed, so I'm so excited. I'm gonna do another Instagram video about this.
that's
I'm not
awesome.
gonna
That's awesome.
But, I'm really so excited about you guys, your future, what you've built, and I'm all for women-owned businesses, so whoop, whoop, girl power. I love it. Okay, let's do a little, rapid fire. Coffee or tea?
Both.
My kinda girl, however the caffeine comes. Summer or winter?
Winter.
But you grew up
If
in
the
the
other Tatiana was here, she'd say, "God, it's summer."
No,
Well, of course.
my sister loves winter too. I'm like, I can't handle it.
I love snow. I love
Oh, oh gosh.
snow.
And I grew up north, like, you would think that no. I'm like, 50 degrees, this is ridiculous. I get so mad. Okay, podcast or Netflix?
mm, audiobook.
What are you like? Oh, that's a good one. Okay. And then Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Instagram, me too. Well, of course, to show off like beautiful work, you guys got to be on Instagram.
Yeah,
So
very visual.
yes. Oh my gosh. So remind people who are watching, and we'll tag you, of course, but where should they be following you
Oh,
to
it's
book?
super easy. Facebook, Instagram, all social media at TNT Staging.
Okay.
And then our website, tntstaging.com. And our residential furniture store is mytnthome.com.
I'm going there right after this. So, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
so much.
Sarah. You guys,
No.
you are amazing. We love, love, love
Oh,
people like you, professionals in your area, people who are willing to do more and walk an extra mile and provide more value. You're amazing, and it's
oh,
my
thank
honor
you.
to be here. And thank you for inviting us. And
Oh, no. Thank you
yeah,
so much for coming.
you were
I have had so much fun learning about this. I always kind of want to know about the inside stuff. And now I get to put a face with the name whenever I see your stuff later. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
All
Thank you.
right.
Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks so
Bye.
much for listening to this episode of Real Estate Coffee Talk. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps. If you'd like to be featured on the show, you can get that information right in the show notes. Be sure to tune in next week for another new episode. And until then,